What is up, Square Nation? My name is Adrian. Welcome back to No Counters, No Combos, and today we're going to go over a specific card that's coming out in Vermillion Bloodlines. But before we do that, don't forget the Computer and Gaming Universe 1K is coming up this weekend. If you guys haven't already, please go and contact the shop and make sure there's still slots available for the upcoming tournament. Last time I checked, it was about I want to say maybe 60 people, and I'm not sure what the capacity is. So if you're interested in joining and signing up for the 1K this weekend and you're in the tri-state area, just give them a call. That's Computer and Gaming Universe, 256 Ferry Street, Newark, New Jersey. So let's get right into the discussion we're going to have for today. The card I wanted to go over specifically, as you can see in the image here, is Piccolo Demonic Transformation. It's a counterplay card that we're getting in set 11. If your leader card is mono yellow, you can play this card. Then the card that your opponent is playing, if its cost is 4 or less, its skills are negated for the duration of the turn. Permanent during your opponent's turn, you can reduce the cost of this card in your hand by 1. So he's a 2-drop counterplay essentially on your opponent's turn, and whatever's 4 or less that's coming into play is going to have its skills negated, which is huge. I mean, we have a 2-drop extra card for yellow, which is the Dragon Slaying Bullet that we got in set 10. The only difference is obviously it's an extra card, and the card that's coming into play gets played in rest mode, but this is a battle card. So it's one of those body counters that we had, gotten earlier. I believe it was like set 6 when we got all the counter plays. The Vegeta, the Goku, the Champa, and the Gohan, but those required multicolored energy to be in play for the cost reduction. You just have to have a mono yellow leader, which obviously we're seeing the transition into set 11. A lot of the monocolored strategies are going to be coming back. Bandai seems to be wanting to push monocolored strategies. So this is going to be, I think, a staple in most yellow decks. I mean, you get so much value for 2 energy. You get to negate your opponent's play for the turn. You're negating a 4 or less for 2 energy. So if it's a 4-drop, you're going to get value. Even if it's a 3-drop, you're going to get value because you're paying 2 energy to negate some skill for an either equivalent or less of a total than your opponent required to use that card. So if they tap 4 and you only tap 2, obviously you're ahead in the advantage game. Not to mention you're getting a 15k body out of it. So yeah, you can use it offensively. You can use it as another 5k combo on board if you really need to. Counter plays, body counters that come into play and stop your opponent's turn. There was a whole format dedicated to this back in the day when we played, or towards the end of my playing before I took a year off. A lot of those body counters, they were all over the place. I mean, it was very hard to play around. If your opponent passed their turn with 2 energy left open, you kind of knew what was coming. So it made the games a lot more grindy, a lot more control, and these counterplays do have very good skills. Now, obviously, you have to be careful with cards that have deflect and stuff like that. They're not going to be targeted by this, but for the most part, if your opponent doesn't have deflect, or if you understand your matchup and know exactly what it is that you're playing against, Piccolo Demonic Transformation could come down, slow your opponent, and then give you a huge amount of value. And obviously, as we can see by the card text, it's not unique. You don't have to only control one of them. You can windmill slam multiples of these guys on a table. If you're going to be focusing on a negation strategy to combat your opponents furthering their game state. So I think this is a pretty good card. I mean, I know the Garlic Jr. archetype is kind of slept on, and for good reason. I think the Garlic Jr. archetype is a little too fair for it to be that that specific. Those cards really can't be played in any other decks except for Garlic Jr. So if it's such archetype specific restrictions, why not just make it a little more busted? But this Piccolo Demonic Transformation has no restrictions except for having a mono yellow leader, which, like I said, because the push is going towards monocolored strategies. I mean, I could name 3 good yellow leaders off the top of my head that are probably going to see play in set 11. Sin Shenron, Gotenks is probably going to still see play. Topo might still see play. And then the yellow leaders themselves in set 11, you have the Gohan Icarus, which is something I'm looking forward to. Of course, you have the archetype specific one with the Garlic Jr. because this is a Demon Clan card. But this is going to be splashable in a lot of different decks, and it doesn't specify that your energy has to be mono yellow, only your leader. So if you're playing like yellow blue or yellow red or anything like that, as long as your leader is a monocolor, you're going to be able to play this card. And resting something coming in for 4 energy and having its skills negated, I mean, that's huge. I mean, obviously, power cards like Obuni, I believe, has deflect. Correct me if I'm wrong, so you're not going to be able to affect that so much. But any other 4 drops that don't have deflect, this thing's going to come in and crack it. So, would I have liked to see it? I might be a little too greedy. I mean, I like Dragon Slaying Bullet because it puts the card in rest mode, so then you can attack over it if you really need to. That might have been a little too busted on a battle card, but being able to negate your opponent's 4-drop for 2 energy is just going to accrue you value as the game goes on. It's going to have a 15k body your opponent's going to have to deal with. So if they're making a game breaking push, or if they're relying for their 4-drop to come to the board and stick, it's one of those things where for 2 energy you can counter that, and it sets them back either a turn or sets them back in their resource management. Again, Dragon Ball's always been a resource game. You guys have heard me say that hundreds of times. Anything that you can do for cheap is always going to be really good, because if you can win the resource battle, you're putting yourself in a good position to win the entire game. So I just wanted to get my 2 cents out on this card. It's really good. I haven't really gone over all of the yellow cards because I'm not really interested in them too much. I think my sole focus is going to be on Counter Baby and then some of the black stuff going into set 11. But I definitely think Piccolo Demonic Transformation is one of the cards you should be definitely trying to pick up, just because it's generically good for yellow strategies. I think it's an SR, so it might be a little pricey. I don't think it's going to be too astronomical compared to some of the SRs that we have in the game now. But if you could pick this up, definitely get yourself a playset, because it's gonna be a valuable card moving forward. Anything that you can do to disrupt your opponent's plays is going to be detrimental to you winning the game. So let me know what you guys think about this card in the comments section down below. Let's open this up to discussion. If you heard in the beginning of the video, if you're looking forward to attending the Computer and Gaming Universe 1K, I would definitely contact the store and see if there's any spots available. Last time I checked, there was like 60 something slots filled up already, and I'm not exactly sure what max capacity is. But definitely call them up. 256 Ferry Street in Newark, New Jersey, if you guys are in the tri-state area. It's supposed to be a pretty big turnout. I think Dylan Ashcraft is going to be on commentary, if I'm not mistaken. So shout out to you, Dylan. I won't be attending the event. I'm just honestly just not ready for a big event like that just yet. I don't want to just show up and scrub out and be an embarrassment to myself and to people that I know in the community. So probably at least a month or 2 away from stuff like that. So I'm just going to continue to grind on locals. And see exactly how everything turns out. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Be there or be squared.